What's up, guys? I hope everyone is doing well. I'm actually recording this all over again. I recorded it the first time, it was kind of boring, so I wanted to do it again with a little bit more humor and a little bit better just personality. Anybody who's new, welcome to our channel. This is Freedom Crawler channel. We do a lot of off-roading, we do a lot of builds, we do a lot of reviews, and everything is honest as possible. No fluff, no BS, no fanboy stuff on this channel. We started this Off-Roading 101 series because I got a lot of requests on people who were just wanting to get started. So this is pretty much dedicated to anybody who is at the very basics, and as the series progresses, maybe you've been doing this for a while, hopefully it'll help you out. Hopefully people leave comments, helps me out. We're always trying to grow. We don't know everything, but we definitely try to help everyone, or at least that one person who really needs it. This is the third video of the Off-Roading 101 video series. Right now, this video is all about which rig you should pick. Now, this is not going to be a cumulative list of every single vehicle out there, but it's going to try and touch base on all the popular rigs that we generally see out on the trails. Hopefully this will help out the person who is starting from scratch, or maybe you're looking to get a different rig and you're looking to figure out which direction you want to go. Hopefully this video will help you out. Pretty much all of these we have owned or worked on, so I do have experience with all of them. Again, I don't know everything, but I can hopefully steer you in a direction. So if you have any questions or comments, as always, leave a comment in the comment below, or hit me up on Instagram and message me there, and we can shoot this shit back and forth and help you out. So if there's something you want to get more into detail on, or you just need a little bit more steering or anything like that, let me know. I'm gonna try and talk fast and try and just be as informative as possible. I don't like these talking videos, but once we progress into the 101 series, we're gonna be on the trail. I'm gonna do how to use your lockers, which line selection to pick, how to use your vehicle, you know, angles and stuff like that. So we'll get out there on the trail, but I mean, it is what it is right now. This is an informative video. I'll try and include pictures and videos for you guys, and we'll keep this exciting. So let's get started. Oh, last thing, this isn't geared towards any specific model. We're open to all of them, so I'm not trying to steer one way or the other. It's just facts. I'm gonna get started with the Jeep Wrangler. Jeep Wrangler is probably the most common vehicle you see on the trail. There's a bunch of different variants, going from the JL, the JK, TJ, YJ, CJ5, CJ7, and back on from there. The Jeep Wrangler is a great vehicle if you're just wanting something that can pretty much do it all. It's kind of like the Lego or an AR-15. You can pretty much rearrange, fix it up as much as you want, and there's a lot of aftermarket support. So Jeep Wrangler is a great place to start, especially if you want to just go out from the beginnings, take a stock vehicle out, or if you just want to get super technical and hit up some really hard challenging trails and have a vehicle that'll let you build up from there. In this genre, I do want to say this. I think the JK is the best bang for your buck right now, unless you're just wanting to go out and buy a new JL, spend $40,000, $50,000 on a vehicle, or buy a used one in the 30 grand range. The JK range right now is actually prime. If you can find a 2012 and up JK, I think you're really in a good place. There's a huge aftermarket support for them, and the bang for the buck you get is really, really good. I would steer away from the 2008 to 2011. A lot of people have great results with them and everything, but in 2012 they changed over to the Pentastar engine, and the engine is just, it's tried and true, it's a bulletproof, it's a really good engine. So if you need a 2012 and up, I think it's a great bang for your buck. I personally like the Unlimited just because you get the longer wheelbase and you can sleep inside the rig. Always a plus. Keeps you away from the bears. So JK Unlimited is great. If you want to get something older, the TJ is probably the most technologically advanced of them all. Once you get in the YJ and the leaf springs and stuff like that, it gets a little bit older. The YJ has the square headlights, the only one. It's pretty similar to the C4. It's kind of like that red-headed stepchild. Still a great setup, but you know, just kind of something to look out for. And if you're going older than that, you probably know what you're looking for anyways. So again, Wrangler, great platform. JK, best bang for your buck, 2012 and up. I'm gonna try to hop back and forth between brands. Toyota 4Runner, also very common vehicle that you see on the trail. Most of them that you see are the 5th gens, just because it's the most recent vehicle out. With the Toyotas, you'll notice that they go to the independent front suspension versus the solid front axle that you get with the Jeeps. So basically what it just means is, instead of having a solid axle on the front, similar to what you'd see in the rear of most vehicles, you have independent suspension on both sides. So it's a more comfortable ride. It has a lot of pros along with that as well. It's just something to think about. So going back to the 4Runner. So the 4Runner has 5 different generations. If you're interested in the old first gens, you know, you got the removable top. 1984 and 85 actually had solid front axles as well. 85 is the cream of the crop because it comes with a fuel injected 22RE engine. So you get a solid front axle and you get a fuel injection engine with a removable top. It's really cool, hard to find, but that's like the cream of the crop of the first gens. The third and fifth gen are probably the most popular 4Runners that you can find on the trail. You can get either or with rear lockers, which is great if you can find it, especially like a 99. 99 is like the cream of the crop of the third gens. The 4Runner is perfect for overlanding. They hold its value really well, extremely reliable, and just a really good setup. What you will notice with the 4Runners though, is if you do want to get into harder trails, you're going to notice that the front and rear bumpers are a limiting factor because of the approach angles and departure angles. It just, you know, it's going to hit first. Ask us how we know. We ripped our rear bumper off on Hell's Revenge the first week we had ours. Great rigs. You can sleep in the back if you put the seat down. Perfect setup. So it just depends on what you're looking for. Going back to Jeeps. So Jeep has a bunch of different models. For example, the Grand Cherokee, the Renegade. All of them work really well and they get you off-road. It just depends on how far you want to go. The Renegade, for example, has its own cult following. Really cool rig. It's kind of quirky. It's kind of like niche a little bit. So if you want something like that and you want to just go off on trails and stuff, have 4x4, that's perfect. You're going to limit it a little bit though because you're not going to be able to fit bigger tires and stuff. But again, the inexpensive vehicle that can take you where you want it to go, and you can still have a Jeep logo on the front and rear if that's what you're looking for. Speaking of Jeeps, and I'm going to do a whole video on this because I think this is like the biggest hidden gem in the off-road community. It's the Jeep XJ Cherokee. This vehicle right here, it's like the Mosin Nagant. It's very inexpensive, it's easy to get into, easy to work on, a lot of aftermarket support. There's a whole, it's its whole little genre. Once you get into the Jeep world, you'll understand like the XJ community versus the Wrangler community. It's kind of a brother-sisterly love that goes on there. So if you're looking for something where solid front axle, 4.0 engine is bomb-proof, it is a great vehicle. And again, I'll do a whole nother series on that because I have something specifically in mind that I want to talk to you guys about. Jeep XJ, great wheelbase, great buy if you're looking to get something a little bit more inexpensive and don't want to get into a Wrangler or just can't. Toyota FJ Cruiser. The FJ Cruiser is perfect in the fact that it again has its own niche as well. A whole off-roading community dedicated to it, reliable. The resale value on those are stupid. I mean, you could have like 300,000 miles and still be 20 grand. I don't know how they do it, but the FJ Cruiser is a great buy. The only quirk about the FJ Cruiser is it has a really small little pocket door. So if you need to get something or someone in and out of the back seat a lot, it might be a limiting factor for you. Very reliable. You can get an automatic, standard, lockers, all that good stuff. And it's a really good vehicle with a big following. Again, with the IFS up front though, so if a solid front axle is important to you, that might steer you away from there. Next up is the Tacoma, and I'm going to group the Gladiator in with this as well. The midsize truck genre right now is stacked with really good vehicles. So let me compare the Gladiator and the Tacoma a little bit. If you're wanting to do something a little bit more technical and hardcore, I would go towards the Gladiator only because you can fit 35s on it stock. You don't have to touch anything. You can literally just toss 35s on it. It's got the solid front axle, removable tops, all the good stuff. So if you're looking for more something like a Jeep and capable, the Gladiator is perfect. It's got that longer wheelbase, a lot of aftermarket support though, and so it's a really good buy for that. If you want to do mild off-roading, if you want to do overlanding, stuff like that, and you don't want to spend as much as the Gladiator, because the Gladiator is going to cost you a little bit more, then Tacoma is absolutely a great buy. In that genre also you have the Ranger, you have the ZR2, so there's some really good vehicles out there. I would say the Tacoma and the Gladiator are the most common ones you're going to see on the trail, but you can't deny that the Ranger and the ZR2 and some of these other trucks are doing a really good job of keeping up. And if you need a truck, that's the route to go. If you don't need a truck though, I would steer away from these because your 4Runner or your Jeep is going to get you more capabilities, less overhang, less wheelbase, and you'll be able to use the full vehicle versus having the truck bed that you may or may not use as much. Again, if you don't need a truck, I'd steer away from those. If that's just opinion, you can do whatever you want. Next up, the Hummer H3. Now this one doesn't come up very often because people think of Hummers, they think of 20-inch rims, spinners, all that good stuff. But the H3 is actually a really nice score, especially in that $10,000 range nowadays. Things about the Hummer though that kind of suck, but it comes with a 5-cylinder engine. You can find the Alpha with the V8, but the 5-cylinder engine stock, and the front end is a little bit more finicky and just not as bomb-proof as some of these other vehicles. So expect to change tie rods, CV axles, maybe your front diff if you have front and rear lockers. So just be careful with that one. But again, for a $10,000 off-road vehicle that you can toss 35s on right away and have front and rear lockers, it's a nice little gem out there. Hummer H3 if you're looking for something like that. Next up, K5 Blazer and the Ford Bronco. A lot of these are usually classed into the mud vehicles. Don't let these vehicles go to the sidelines because they have a lot of capacity and really good off-roading vehicles. More full size, so a little bit harder to get on tighter trails, gas guzzlers, stuff like that, but there's no replacement for displacement. Now, you will get solid front axles with both of these, except some of the Ford Broncos had like this weird scissor front end, which I'm not too familiar with. Great vehicles, tops come off. The Bronco's gonna be cheaper than the Blazer, just because that square body crowd is more apt to lean towards the Blazer and to keep the prices up on them. Great vehicles though. I wanted to mention Subarus in here because Subaru, it's a highly engineered, it'll get you off-road, it's very technologically advanced. It's not gonna take you down a technical off-roading trail, but it will get you out there. I've seen people do it in Hell's Revenge. You know, a lot of these trails around here, Switzerland, a lot of them, you can take your Subaru out. Four-wheel drive, works really well. So if you're just wanting to get something not too technical and just go off-road every now and then, hit some bypass roads, maybe a Subaru is the best option for you. Good gas mileage, a lot of reliability, except for those WRX STI guys who just blow up their engines all the time. FJ80 Land Cruiser. The Land Cruiser in general has a whole, again, a whole another cult following. You can get the old school ones, you can come up to the new school ones, a little bit more expensive for the newer ones. The FJ80 was the last year with the solid front axle. It's very desirable, great engine, especially that 95 to 98, because you can supercharge those. Great vehicles. The 91 and 92 had a less horsepower engine, but if you can get a 93 and up, really good scores. Actually, probably one of my favorite off-road vehicles. You can also get it with front and rear lockers, solid front axles. I mean, that's a great buy. Plus the interior space, you can see through it very well. You can sleep inside. I almost don't even want to sell that because I want to get another one, and I don't want you guys to go buy them all. Full-size trucks, absolutely. You can take your F-150, you can take your Silverado, you can take your Honda Ridgeline out on the trail if you want to. But again, you're going to limit wheelbase and just the size of the vehicle. So those will work if you have it. I mean, people sell rock rails and everything like that for them. So if that's what you want to do, go for it. But again, you'll have your limitations, and I think everyone knows kind of where that leads. Buggies and razors. Honestly, if you're buying a buggy, you know what you're doing in this lifestyle. You're caged out. It's not very comfortable as far as driving long distance. Usually they're not street legal anyways. And you can roll it, flip it over in a hot tub in Hell's Revenge, and just go on with your day, toss it back on your trailer. So you buggy guys know who you are. If you're looking to buy a buggy and you've never off-roaded before, by all means, go big or go home, right? Last one is the Razor. Razor kind of has its own niche too. Perfect for anybody who isn't wanting to buy a vehicle that they have to take to work on Monday. Extremely capable, whole aftermarket support. Yeah, you can go get your light up antennas and zip around and play your country music, drinking your Miller Lights, and just enjoy yourself. Perfect for that person who wants to trailer their toy out there, trailer at home, and not worry about taking it to work on Mondays. Again, hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope it helps that one person out. That's all we want to do, is just help people out. It's really the goal of the channel. And if you want to talk more in depth on any of this, let me know. I'll help you out as best as possible. And again, thank you guys. Hope to see you on the trail.